Cape Treasury has allocated 1.8 billion rands to the Coega Development Corporation to mitigate the waste crisis, water waste crisis in the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. Finance MEC Mlungisi Mvoko approved the budget. Coega made a successful application through the Budget Facility for Infrastructure. Programs Manager for Coega Development Corporation, Maria van Sale, joins us now for more on this. Good to have you, and thank you very much for your time tonight here on In Focus. How important is this project, this reticulation effluent return scheme for, one, water sustainability in the Eastern Cape, but mostly for investment, job creation, as well as other benefits?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you tonight. The Coega Development Corporation is located in the Nelson Mandela Bay municipal area. And as you know, we are a drought-stricken area since 2015. So that is now for the past 7 to 8 years. And currently our capacity in the dams are only 11%, of which only 7% can be used. So we are really in a water crisis. Coega is a 9,000 hectare special economic zone with 56 operational investors, and some of these investors are really mega users of water. Currently, the infrastructure that we do have only allow for potable or drinking quality water to be used for these industrial users. And although we have put a lot of measures in place to minimize wastage and to recycle water, it is not enough because it's still we are still a very large water user. So we have applied for this funding under the Water Scarcity Program so that we can recover, recycle and reuse wastewater for industrial purposes. So these will then be used for all our investors and it will help with economic growth, especially with mega water users. The nice thing about this project is that it will use all the wastewater that we produce in the Coega SEZ and as well as the neighboring area from the municipality, and that will then be turned into a return effluent. So that is industrial quality water. So we will assist with industrial process water, and then we will also save the municipal resources and we will protect the water that we currently have in the metro.
Yeah.
So the project is actually a quite complex project where we are going to complete one of our bulk sewer lines. From there, we are going to use all the wastewater that we get in Coega. It will be pumped to a new wastewater treatment facility. From there, it will go to a reservoir and then be, with pipelines, it will go to our investors.
Right.
A nice section of this project is also to alleviate the pressure that is currently sitting with the metro on the Fishwater Flats wastewater treatment facility. So a large volume from the Motherwell area will go into our wastewater treatment works, and that will open up capacity for the metro as well because they are running at 100% on their wastewater treatment works, and it will give an opportunity for larger housing developments on their side as well.
Yeah. So, in simple terms, what we're looking at here is being able to collect more wastewater, clean it up, and send it to industries for industries to be able to use that. And you're saying this, of course, will bring a whole lot of relief for the residents and the population to be able to at least have a little bit more drinking water as opposed to that drinking water being used by industries. It's phase one of a much bigger project that you want to actually implement. But let's talk about this phase one itself and what are the direct benefits, except for what we've already spoken about, and industries being able to benefit from it. But it's money that government is pumping into the community with the hope that at least a bulk of the procurement will come from there. Some SMEs will benefit. The informal sector will benefit as well. How are you dividing this piece of the pie, so to speak, so that it not only brings the infrastructure but creates the jobs and creates some kind of economy?
Yes, thank you. The project will be divided into smaller projects, and all of these will go out on open public tender processes, so that we don't give this project only to one contractor to implement. It will be various contractors, so that we make sure that there is as much participation in this project as possible. And then from there, one of Coega's main items is to have job creation and SMME development. From job creation point of view, we will make sure that the jobs are secured. We have a center that is looking after job creation. And on the SMME development side, it is not only SMMEs within the Port Elizabeth area, it's a national port, SMME development. And so we aim to appoint at least at a minimum 33% of all this work must go to SMMEs. And our SMME unit is looking at the packaging of these so that there's a fair distribution amongst all the contractors that we have.
In terms of the progress then of the project at this particular point, what is then required to be done as far as the processes of treasury for this 1.8 billion rands to be released? I mean, in some kind of definition, they say administrative information that is still missing from your side. What does that exactly mean?
From that side, we have received a confirmation letter from National Treasury. The items that we must close are small items just to indicate how we are going to roll out this project. That information we will submit to them within a month's time, and then those processes are closed. So I think it is not a showstopper from our side. It is items that we can close quite easily. We also are in direct contact with meetings with the officials to make sure that what we supply them is exactly the information that they require.
Right. As part then of the broader water sustainability strategy, I suppose this is part one of it, wastewater treatment. What are the other aspects of the water sustainability strategy that you are looking at in terms of shifting how water is sustained in the province, but particularly, of course, we are looking at water availability in Nelson Mandela Bay?
Yes, one of the other projects that we are currently working on is a desalination plant. We do have an environmental authorization for a 16 megaliter desalination plant at Coega, and from there the water will then be circulated through the metro as well. So that project, we are busy obtaining or applying for funds for that project, but that will give a nice mix to the metro so that we have then the normal water that we do have as well as desalinated water. And then I don't know, the metro is also having borehole water. So then there will be enough mix to make sure that there's enough supply for the whole metro.
Yeah. Now, in the context, Maria, unfortunately, of the South African problem of corruption, we have to ask this question all the time whenever funds are being released as to how are you going to ensure and ring-fence these funds from looting?
Now, that's a good question. From Coega Development Corporation is being audited every year by the Auditor General to make sure that the funds that we have received is then put to the correct use. So every year they audit our whole procurement process to make sure that the funds that we do get, it's normally ring-fenced for that specific project. And then also we must get sign off for everything that we pay out of those projects. So we also have an open procurement process which is audited. So at the end of the day, I think we are quite strict, and so far we had a clean audit for the last few years, of which we are very proud. So we make sure that no funds are not going to the right projects.
Yeah. It is in the construction space. If you look at what's happening in the Western Cape, you are dealing with construction mafias. Part of what they are raising is the fact that a large share of this, for example, doesn't go towards empowerment projects or at least skills development and so forth. So it goes to established construction companies and therefore previously disadvantaged communities don't see the benefit. How are you approaching that right off the bat as you're setting up this project?
Well, since the beginning of Coega Development Corporation, we have a SMME unit that is specifically looking at smaller contractors. Because I think the main problem is with the smaller contractors. And they have a database. When we go out on tender, we sit with them as well, and to make sure that packages are distributed evenly. And on these packages for works in the civil, actually in all the building trades, there are tender processes that must be done. And our SMME unit is hands-on and involved with all these processes. So I think from our side, we make sure that we have control and that we have a process that is as fair as possible to everybody.
Maria, I appreciate your time and thank you very much for coming on tonight, sharing with us your intervention. Maria is Programs Manager at the Coega Development Corporation. Following